And boom, there I am on YouTube. Let's go ahead and get the light on. No? Yes. There we go. A little less creepy there. A little less shadowed and ominous. What am I hearing? Oh, now you want to pick up a toy, Lou? Okay, not a great time. What do I have? I've got one document open. I think I got the other one open on my tablet, and I'm going to go ahead and close that real quick before I actually start streaming. Oh yeah, I got to start the Twitch. I got to edit my Twitch page first, because people actually pay attention to that on that forum. Elon Musk says that in 10 to 20 years, work will be optional and money will be irrelevant thanks to AI and robotics. Sure. And it's just going to be another form of slavery, though, so we'll see how that goes. Hey, Riz. Hey, buddy. Had a little scare today. I was going to start streaming earlier today, and as I was getting ready to get that going, a basking light blew up in his tank, and so I got that cleaned up. Asked on Facebook about best way of handling that, and got a bunch of comments back, but I wound up vacuuming out his tank with a crevice tool. Expository scene. I'm no longer writing an expository scene. Emergent. I'm writing an emergent. And by emergent, I mean this chapter is a byproduct of feature creep, something I was so desperately trying to keep from happening while writing this novel. But this novel that I'm writing was originally designed to be a novella. Who knows? Maybe it'll still wrap up and be under 80,000 words, but I was shooting for about 55,000, I'd say, at most. And by this point, I want to say it's at pretty close to 30,000. And I've just finished chapter 3 for my outline. And this last chapter that I finished, Emergent chapter, wound up leading me into an idea for another chapter, which is what I've started today. And that is, just an add-on. It's an add-on chapter that I'm starting that was not part of my original plan at all. And the story has just kind of informed me that it needs this extra section to be written in. Didn't want to do it. Wasn't going to do it. And kind of feel like I have to. Like, I've got it plotted out. I did my writing on it this morning, like my what I do in a notepad in order to write it down. And this is after I had typed the concept for this chapter into ChatGPT and asked it, like, do I need this? Is this going to close a door? Is this going to be a hinge moment? Because your hinge moments are things where things take a turn, things transition, things change. And doors, when you're writing your chapter, means that you've shut a door, that it's no longer possible for a character to go back to the way things were. So that's two ways of noting that there is a change occurring in this chapter, and that's what makes it significant. Otherwise, you're just writing rhetoric fluff. So, I'm going to go ahead and minimize my OBS so I don't see that. I'm going to keep Twitch. Ooh, there it is. I'm going to keep Twitch open on this other screen. I'm going to run over to my tablet real quick and close down the Word document that I already opened up to start this new chapter on, because I've discovered if I have it open on 2 units at the same time, it causes a weird saving glitch, and I end up having to save iterations. So instead of calling it like this is 3-4 because this goes in between chapters 3 and 4 of my original outline, I have to call it 3-4 point 1, point 2, point 3, like whatever iteration it is, because it'll suddenly like corrupt that file name and not let me use it anymore. Which is really frustrating, because then when I'm going into through my edit phase, I'm having to find whatever the latest iteration is on these, and I end up with a lot of extra files just taking up space, and that's awful. And why am I back on Gmail? Just weird habits. I do not need my phone right now. I'm setting up so I don't have to use any of my time on my phone. All right. What's up, Lou? You hungry? You're not hungry. You still got food to eat. All right, so now I got nothing open on Word on that other one. So I can go into Word here. Insert chapter outline 3_4. Okay. All right. So this is my outline. You notice the use of the bold and all that stuff. That's pure indication that I did not set this up myself. This is just copied and pasted from what I had done in ChatGPT. So the way I'll set up my outlines is I brainstorm. Well, like I said, with this one, I chatted with ChatGPT, the same chat that I've been using to like go through my draft on. Is this a necessary chapter? Does this work? And it was like, okay, this is what you're doing. This is where it's useful. These are what changes, what doors shut, what things hinge and pivot. Kind of convinced me that, yeah, it's a good idea to go ahead with it. And after doing that, right on this side, come on. Oh, do the thing. There it is. All right. So after it convinced me that, yeah, I should take the time to do this instead of just plowing ahead with my outline the way I had intended, I wrote it all down in a notepad. Like, tried to map out how the scene would go line by line. This happens, and this happens, and this happens, and this happens, just in a notebook. Notepad, like this, not this exact one, but just a scratch pad. And then once that's done, I will go back into ChatGPT, same chat that I had with it earlier, and write down all those notes in one chat box, separated with just a period, just sentences. And then this is usually another phase where I will add extra embellishments that didn't make it into the notepad, but like, oh, this and this and this, and sometimes I'll follow it up with whatever ideas emerged or came to me as I was writing up that section of the outline. And then hit send into ChatGPT, and then have it, and then ask it to, okay, transcribe this into beats for me so that I can have something to go on. So I'm following each point and things are going progressional and I have everything mapped out for me. And a lot of the times I'll go in with a concept for a chapter like that, and I'll write down all my notes and I'll write them completely out of order and then see if ChatGPT can organize everything for me in a logical fashion. So it's easier to use that to write things down with, to actually like get the draft written. And a lot of the time when I do that, when it's not in perfect order, where I'm like, oh, and this too, and like this part happens here, and just sort of plug things in out of order, it will not give me a great version to use, but it gives me enough that I can cut, copy, and paste and move things around and adjust it in order to make things flow better, and then I will double check that in ChatGPT again. And you got to be careful with ChatGPT because it wants to make you happy. It wants to tell you what it thinks you want to hear, like an abused child. And so you got to be really precise with it. You got to know what you want, and you got to be willing to make changes and to argue and to go back and forth with it. It can be a pain, but it can be a huge benefit, especially if you're dealing with any kind of hesitation or writer's block or anything like that. Like if you watch my streams as I'm writing, I get distracted very easily, and having anything that can help keep me on point, or anything that I can just like pop what I'm working in order to get the grammar and the spacing set up on a pass, or to confirm that what I'm writing is actually working. And you got to ask it, like, be honest with me. Have I lost the plot? Have I gone too far off? Where are my repetitions? Where are my grammatical errors? And use it as a refining and an editing tool. I had someone who wanted me to do some artwork for them for a project for a children's book, and they just sent me their ChatGPT conversation where they had put in their prompt, and they sent me the prompt and they sent me the ChatGPT, like everything, including the beginning section. Well, here's what I did, and here's how I set it up, and then the page-by-page breakdown. And even for a children's book, like it could have been better if they would have given it another pass and gone through and rewritten everything themselves to give it more of that, just that human touch, which was unfortunate. I wound up declining the project, mostly because it became very clear that as the illustrator, I was going to put in far more time doing the drawings than they put in writing the book. And that doesn't work for me. Like if it's 12 pages and I'm going to have to do 12 hours, I got to know that at least 12 hours of work went into it, not just writing a prompt and going with whatever ChatGPT tells you. I felt really bad about that, but at the same time, just not really for me. So this is how we do it. So I got it set up right now. I got my outline on the right-hand side and my actual writing on the left-hand side, so that the little blurb of my head will cover up the outline, but not necessarily what I'm writing, because Book Buyer, one of my followers, can't read it when I get to the bottom of the page. So I do it this way. It's not exactly how I like to work. I'd rather reverse it so everything is going like, left to right, the way you read. But for my fan, I do this for my fan. So yeah, that's my ramble so far. YouTube, you got the worst of it in this 10 minutes, and then Twitch and Kick, you just kind of came in when I was already mid rant. So describe what you'd like to write with Copilot. I hate that option even exists. Should we play with it though? Should we see what it does? I'm curious. I'm really curious to see just what happens. So I'm gonna take. Let's play with AI a little bit and see what AI really does. So I'm gonna take, boom, my entire outline, copy it, and then go into this little header that Word has. Describe what you'd like to draft with Copilot, and just paste the whole thing in. Wow. Oh, wow. So it gives you 400,000 words. You can write a prompt that's 400,000 words in Copilot and then have it go from there. I mean, if you've written 400,000 words, what the hell is Copilot really going to do? All right, let's see. Okay, I don't know what just happened. It basically just spit out the first bit of the outline. Just put that on the page and then stopped during beat 2. What happens if I push this again? Working on it, looking things over. Copilot can't finish generating high quality. It couldn't finish. Okay. So close that. See what it did. I'm just curious. It took out purposes from each of the beats. Okay. This structured chapter outline is intended for fiction writers and editors aiming to maximize character dynamics, institutional tension, and gradual mystery escalation within a royal setting. Each section provides specific narrative beats and micro-beat options to enhance emotional atmosphere, power play, and character development. And then, again, it petered out and couldn't finish. And petered out, that's a weird expression. Yo, what's up, Beer Chug? I'm starting a writing project here and just messing around a little bit with AI, trying to show off the limitations that it has, like benefits versus drawbacks. Thank you. Thank you. I actually got this during COVID. Going to keep me safe. Yeah. And now I look like I belong in Mega or some shit. But yeah, it's been that kind of weather here in Minnesota. You know what? I was just thinking I needed a drink. Give me a second. Let me hit Control Z. Oh, yeah. Got rid of that bullshit. And go grab something bubbly, dude. Riz. All right. Spindrift sparkling water with real squeezed fruit. Make sure I get all the fizz and all the flavor. All right, let's let that percolate a little bit. Select icon or press Alt-I. It was weak, but that was a startup. Let's see. Trio walked down the royal corridor. The Arista's tall boots cracked against the stone floor like hooves. I like cracked more than clacked. Once when you first contacted me on Discord and showed me how to actually talk to people through Discord. I was back in my old house months and months ago. But I know I can't compete with you, man. You're a monster when it comes to belches. I mean, I still got the Discord. I don't know if did you send me a new link? Let's see. Who's Jack Dace? Jack Days everywhere. I haven't encountered another Jack Days yet. Hopefully I didn't jinx it saying that. Versus tall boots. She has more than one leg. Boots cracked against the stone floor like hooves. Tall boots that Miri had selected. I need that. Oh, pardon me. See, I shouldn't be doing this fine touching as I'm writing, but I want it to flow right so I can come back later and say this sucks and fix it all. Beside her, Garrett strode with his elbow crooked for her to cling to, while behind them, Miri stepped lightly in their shadows. I can just spell shadows right. When did I learn? Around the time that I learned to swallow air, which I want to say was 4th grade, 3rd grade, somewhere around there. Probably 3rd grade. But I got a cousin that crazy loud belches when she was a little girl. Like, I think I told you this story before. First time I heard it, I was staying over at their house, and I heard this belch come from the living room that just sounded like it was shaking the beams in the ceiling. And I come running into the other room, and there's my little cousin, like 3 or 4 years old, sitting in the middle of the living room floor, little girl, just hee, laughing mischievously, and it was insane. And of course, she had to grow up, and people told her to be a lady, and she lost the ability to be able to belch like that just out of social limitations placed on her, which is unfortunate. Real skill. What's up, dog? What do you want? Did you finish your food? Is that what you're trying to tell me? You finished eating? If I get up and there's food in that bowl, I'm going to be mad. I'm telling you right now. Okay, I'll be very disappointed. All right. Okay, you finished. You finished. Good girl. All right. Good dog. All right, you get it down the street. All right, there's a treat for you. Yeah, I see you, Mojo. Little Bell gets a treat, so you get a treat too. Of course you do. Here you go, Mo. Get you more bottled water because you're spoiled and loser. All right. Animals. Let's see. Beside her, Garrett strode with his elbow crooked for her to cling to, while Miri stepped lightly in their shadows. Stepped lightly behind them like a shadow. Or while Miri shadowed behind them. That way I'm not getting too wordy. That was pretty gurgly. I was hoping you wouldn't notice, but yeah, I had to swallow afterward. That was not a good one. Elbow crooked for her to cling to, while behind them Miri shadowed. While behind them... Yeah, while Miri shadowed behind them. Miri shadowed behind them. A surly voice bounded down the hall. Oblivious to their approach initially. What's up, Lou? Really? Bring it here. Bring it. Pick it up. Yes, pick it up. Bring it here. Give it to me. Give it to me. I want it. I want it. Give it. Thank you. Go get it. Good girl. Good girl. Hi. Damn and blast it all to hell. Maybe keep that realization down for another beat. Look, Corvin, the old dwarf in polished plate, bellowed. King needs his rest. Interrupting his peace today. I'll not have the queen be disappointed if he dunna mend quick like. Trying to figure out how is an old surly dwarf who's the captain of the guard talk. Interrupting his peace today. I'll not have the queen be disappointed if he dunna mend quick like. Quick like. That was it doesn't really work. Quickly. This is a character I've had mentioned twice so far in the story. You know, it's my first time actually putting him in. Lou? Yeah? Here. Okay, that was a bad throw. You can get it. Go get it. Go get it. Get it. Come on, grab it. Good girl. Good girl, grab it. Good girl, get it. I actually threw it into the cat stand, so it got like wedged on a ledge. Bam. All right, go get it. Good girl. Thanks. The old dwarf and polished plate bellowed. The king needs his rest. There are to be no more interrupting his peace today. I'll not have the queen be disappointed if he don't amend quickly. Arista held fast. Uncertain and possessive in her new footwear. Fat fingers. The guard captain who stood nearly as wide as he did tall, glanced their way and then blinked in astonishment. First at It's a purple-haired maiden in the dark velvet dress, slowly to Garrett with a lingering eye. After a moment of astonishment, he exclaimed, "It's a comma, not a period." "Young Master Garrett, how are ya, lad?" "It's been far too long." "We all thought you were dead." "Aye." "Didn't we, Corvin?" He gave the tall half-orc an elbow to his knees that nearly toppled the green man. "Say, green fellow." He nodded in reply. The dwarf's twinkling eyes went right back to Arista as he asked with a smile that widened his already burly beard. "And who precisely is this lovely lass?" "I'd say an angel, but she's far too pretty." What you doing, Riz? Hey, buddy boy. Hey, my dude. Yeah, sure, fuck it. Let's have Garrett say, Dunrick, yet again. Dunrick, sir. Rista darling, this is Captain Dunrick. Dunrick, Captain of the King's Guard and my old trainer when I and Corbin were boys. Alright. Give that the old ChatGPT check real quick. Almost 40 minutes into this stream, and I'm not even a page done. Oh well. Animal interruptions. And this is going to take a minute. Oh. Okay. Actually, that should be when Corbin and I were boys. From when Corbin and I were boys. That's right. Unladylike, is that? Strong woman. Why this works, Arista slows the scene physically, reinforcing her dominance without dialogue. Dunrick reads warm, loud, perceptive, not foolish. Corbin stays present without stealing focus. The flirt line lands as character, not threat. The paragraph breathes without ballooning. Alright. Okay, and that takes me to the end of beat 3. Microbeat options. Dunrick compares her to adventurers. Mentions Gwendolyn's grip is similar. No guard reactions. Respect curiosity. Hi. Hey, buddy. Hi. You get scared today, huh? That was fun. Oh. All right. Just turn the water on so I can get some tea. Okay, I like that. Good when I'm not being yelled at for things out of my control. Good when not being yelled at for things out of my control. He casts a respectful sideways glance down. powder, baby. Let's get this out of here. I forget to turn the burner off. Here it said gingerly. I wonder if that works. What does it really mean to say something gingerly? To say it like a redhead? Yeah, it cannot be letting everyone in. The king needs his rest. Stressing the queen out something terrible. I knew that was wrong. It doesn't have an H, does it? It does not have an H. Exasperation. It sounds like it should. Like, ugh. Like he rolls and there's phlegm involved. I want Arista to come in. I'm like, she's been flattered. She loves flattery. She loves compliments. But at the same time, She's got to be demanding. Captain. is lip braced for an emerging sneer. Let's try this one again. I need to go back earlier and drop in a little more exposition. And that section back in, going back down here. And that brings me to the end of beat 5. It's like that last pass, it tried to do too much. Like I wanted it to clean up the new addition that I added to that part, and basically it told me that I didn't need to, and then continued on. So I'm going to ignore what it gave me because it gave me a bit of a rewrite. It wasn't bad actually; it was pretty good. It's slowly getting better at maintaining my voice, but a little too much. A little too much. Let's pop in this last section, and then that takes me to about an hour and a half for this stream. I'm gonna go ahead and take a break. It's 2:11 where I'm at. I'm feeling kind of a little sweaty. I think I'm good for taking a break. This gets them inside the room, and this gets me I wonder if I might want to steal some of these lines. Again, it's launched into this I'm gonna write for you mode, which I hate it when it does that. And it gets some of the characters confused. So it's a good time for me to take a break. And what this tells me is I maybe have gotten to a point where it doesn't feel the need to like correct my grammar. Like if I wanted to keep correcting my grammar and supplying pacing, I need to stop doing as well as I have been. So it's a good point to be at, but a little bit annoying. I kind of like it when it does subtle reworkings of my stuff. Like help me out with the spacing a bit. Um, oh wow, this wrote a lot. This really tried to write a lot for me. And it's adding ominous touches and stuff like that, whereas I'm doing a lot more character work with this. Yeah, this just suggested like what is that? A page and a half of what to just pop in. I like some of it though. I think when I come back, I want to go through and I want to gut some lines from this, but not use the whole thing. Like type it in myself. Let's just read what ChatGPT wrote for a continuation on the story. So Dunrick, sir, Garrett said with a touch said a touch apologetically, would you mind if we went in? Arista here is really concerned about how my father is doing. Dunrick sighed again as though the air was being forcefully squeezed from him. All right, fine then, lad, but it's no fair arming yourself with not one but two lovely lasses. You know that's my only weakness. With a nod from Garrett and a blush from Mary, the trio slipped past as the two guards held the doors open wide for them. Inside, the king lay in his bed looking miserable as Belaine and her mother Giselle flitted about him, fluffing his pillows and adjusting his blankets, as though the old man did not know how to make himself comfortable. ChatGPT, when I just put in that section, with a nod from Garrett and a blush from Mary, the trio slipped past as the guards pulled the doors wide. The smell hit first, wine soured by age, medicinal smoke, and something faintly metallic beneath it all. King Gregarious lay propped against a mountain of pillows, his face gray and damp, breath rasping shallowly through parted lips. Belaine hovered at his right like an anxious bird, smoothing blankets that did not need smoothing, while Giselle flitted between the bedside table and the hearth, fretting over draughts and cloths as though movement itself might ward off death. Okay, I'm going to take this first little bit, bring that over. Place this paragraph, add that, and then change some things. Like Giselle laughed nervously and pressed the cool cloth to his brow. That should be Belaine, I think. Belaine and Giselle. Hmm. That works. I mean, this is what I've planned and talked about with it. right, I do like. I hate it when it does this. Like it writes stuff that I genuinely like. Go ahead and pop that in. And this is all stuff that I'm gonna have to come in later and change and adjust. Like right now, it's these paragraphs are line by line. Like it writes in a very poetic fashion, and I'm gonna want to cluster that and change that. But it's a unique cadence. This is really going through the beats, the outline that I had planned. Yeah, this is wrote the whole chapter for me, but it did it too much. But it's telling me I don't need too many words. Like it's trying to keep me restrained to about 2,000 words for this chapter, and that's like it looks like that's what it produced. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop in this much, 1,277. And I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna rework this. But I think this is good for now. Good time for me to take a break. I'm feeling dewy and oily. I did not shower yesterday, so I'm definitely due for one today, especially if I'm going to have date night with the wife tonight. And I got to clean up the apartment. So it's nice and clean for her, and she can be impressed and hopefully be willing to get naked here. For those of you keeping track, still working on trying to fix my marriage. I don't know how things are going. I feel like I'm on a yo-yo string with her, where it's back and forth, and it's also temperamental, and it's based on her mood, and I got to make money. So if you guys can see the link to Amazon that's in my description right now, I really got to sell my book at the moment. Really got to sell my book. I don't just got to sell it. I got to give it away. I got to get people reading it. Because apparently, like, the factoid that I learned about marketing today is it is easier to get people to buy your book than it is to get people to read your book. Which I find kind of fascinating. And what's the opposite of discouraging? Encouraging. I find it a little bit encouraging. If I can just get the marketing thing down, if I can get it in front of the right people, which is women, it's for the ladies. That's what romanticy is for. It's for the ladies. Let's get this saved. We are calling this chapter. No, that's not how you spell chapter. Book 2, chapter 3-4. 3-4. Emergent. You call it Emergent because this was not part of the original outline. And it's telling me I can't save it because I have this. Okay. Underscore works. So this is an emergent chapter that goes between my outline chapters of 3 and 4. Let's save. Auto save is now on. I'm on page 4. I'm shooting for a minimum of 3,000 words on this, which doesn't feel too long to me, but ChatGPT is telling me I don't need to make it that long because the chapter before this is kind of long, but the chapter before this I think got up to like 5,000 words, which originally my plan was to go for like 3,000 to 4,000 per chapter. I'm trying to keep stuff short and contained, but longer than I did in the last book. So, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and pop that line in. What I'm taking out right now from the suggestions are the ones that actually give you Arista's POV. You've traveled far then, the king asked, eyes brightening. Ever heard of the pilgrimage? I think I want to change that. Ever heard of the pilgrimage? And I'm definitely going to want to add some stuff prior to this. The king asked, eyes brightening. Okay, this will be the last line that I steal from ChatGPT because it works, but all of it's going to need to be edited and changed. So, like I said, about to take a break, about to pop off, clean up, prepare for this evening. All right, folks. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, anybody who's watching me in post. I appreciate it. Buy my first book. It's out on Amazon. Search under books. And then when you're in the books section, Drowning, semicolon, The Lonely Isle. You got to be really precise to find it. It's not easy to find right now. I'm up to a whole 7 sales at the moment and 53 pages read on KDP. So apparently the life of a book, the release time of a book isn't the first 2 weeks or the first 2 months. It's the first 2 years. And I'm trying to figure out the marketing thing. One thing that's been suggested is I keep doing what I've been doing with the editing and the writing online and the streaming. So please check it out. Because I'm still looking for a job and it is not going great. So read my book. I could use the reads, I could use the likes, I could use the reviews. And hopefully I'll be back on later today. I've been getting a lot of comments saying that my cover could use some work. A lot of it is just people trying to sell art, and a lot of it is well-meaning people telling me that the title is too hard to read. So I'll be going back in and changing that so that it pops more and better. Probably need to change the thumbnail as well as the actual print book cover, because when I got it, here it is. It just felt a little too dark. Like, it's not the easiest to see Drowning the Lonely Isle, and it could be because I went with a matte finish instead of a gloss finish. I might select to do this in gloss instead the next time I do a past the cover. But here it is. Not very long. 182 pages, and that takes you to about the author. That's me. And yeah. So this is book 1 of the series, Drowning the Lonely Isle. Order it now, because if I keep making changes, then these are technically variants. So, yeah, she saved his life, now she may never give it back. When Prince Garrett is lost at sea, he expects to drown. Instead, he wakes on a lonely isle, saved by a mermaid whose appetite pulled him down into the depths. She is beautiful, watchful, and far too invested in his survival. The ocean that nearly claimed him now hems him in, and the shore offers no clear path home. Garrett wants only to leave the island and return to the life he lost. But the longer he remains, the more he senses that his rescue came at a cost. The mermaid who saved him does not speak of the world beyond the water, and each attempt to escape binds him closer to her, and to the island itself. As desire and unease blur, Garrett must decide whether his captivity is a curse, a bargain, or something far more intimate. Some rescues are meant to be repaid. Some shores do not let go. Drowning, The Lonely Isle is a dark romantasy novella that reimagines classic myth through obsession, longing, and the quiet terror of being loved too well. So yeah. And what we're working on here is the continuation of their story. And this is a full novel, not a novella. That's kind of what I've determined as I was struggling to get through Chapter 2, and Chapter 2 became Chapter 3, and Chapter 4, and maybe Chapter 5. We'll see how I divide it up when it comes to the edit. But thank you, folks. Thank you to all my followers. Thank you to all my fans. Thank you to my readers. Thank you, everybody. And especially thank you to my haters. You guys help me out more than you realize. Appreciate you.